Yeah, I like your introductions. I hope you let me do one. I'm gonna do my introduction to Will Bryant's podcast.
Oh, really? You can do one if you want.
I'm gonna do it right now. Ready?
I'm
gonna do it right there. Hello, I'm Eddie Layfield. I'm on a podcast with Will Bryant, and this is I Am Will Bryant. A podcast featuring Eddie Layfield.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Just the wordplay of it all. I was like, how can I just get this going?
I will say, out of a 10, I'll give you like a 7.5. It would have been an 8.5, except the name of the podcast is I'm Will Bryant. 3 words.
Not I am Will Bryant.
No.
Okay.
No.
Let me do it again. Okay, ready?
Go for it. Take 2.
Hello, I'm Eddie Layfield, and I'm on a podcast with Will Bryant. This is I'm Will Bryant, featuring Eddie Layfield.
Nailed it. Nailed it. I like that. I appreciate you for coming on the show and taking over immediately, Eddie.
Well, thank you for at least giving me that moment to try and make one joke. Hopefully your audience thinks I'm funny after that one.
They either like you already or have immediately turned on you.
Probably.
My audience, it's okay. They turn on me.
Yeah.
This is going to be episode 84, so they have turned on me 83 times in a row.
Well, congratulations. Did you know that on average, if a podcast passes episode 21, they're in the 90 percentile of actually succeeding.
Oh, really?
Because most podcasts completely fail before episode 21. And so congratulations.
I know that there's a lot of podcasts that don't even get to episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like a huge percentage of that.
Mm-hmm.
21 is interesting because that's a decent amount.
Mm-hmm.
But I always wonder too, is it 21 podcasts in the span of 2 years, or is it 21 weeks in a row? Because
I don't know. That's a good choice. Do you do a podcast per month, or are you on an episode per week?
This is weekly. Yeah,
that's great.
There was a while late last year where it kind of was documented throughout my podcast where I was hitting a wall, where it probably had a lot to do with drinking too much, as you came in and already said that you know that I'm on this little sobriety journey or whatever.
Yeah, just from keeping up with your episodes.
I appreciate that too.
It's a good choice, man. I can't handle my alcohol, so I also feel you and know how tough it is to kind of break a habit.
Yeah.
So good on you.
It's like my last guest. Well, this will be 2 guests ago. Sam was saying, I'm not sober, but I'm more of a mindful drinker.
That's good. Yeah, cool.
Have you completely cut out drinking in your life? Or?
Not completely, no. But I've found in my older age of 32 years young that my stomach can't handle it.
Oh, I thought when you said you can't handle it, it was like you rage out and get
no.
You're physically.
Yeah, I get physically sick and violently ill.
Really?
and throw up profusely for the next day or so. I'm making out with my toilet pretty much.
All right, that's kind of a nice little hack to get off. It's sometimes they give this pill to addicts that make them want to throw up whenever they drink or something.
Yeah.
You have that naturally.
the throw up.
The vomit, yeah. I mean, I kind of have a weak gag reflex too, but with alcohol, I do all right, I guess.
Nice.
You told me something pretty interesting as soon as you walked in. You've never been to Brooklyn.
I have been to Brooklyn, but definitely not out this far.
So immediately lied to me. You have been to Brooklyn.
I guess I haven't been to this part of Brooklyn.
This is, it's funny. You say this far in. I don't know if you took the train here, the subway.
Yeah.
If you got off at Halsey Street, you basically walked the border of Queens and Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. So we're kind of touching it.
Yeah, Ridgewood, Queens is a block away.
Okay.
So you're literally barely in Brooklyn right now. But,
okay, well,
but it counts.
Hey.
It's Bushwick, so
okay, cool.
It counts.
I live in Manhattan.
Okay.
And my wife wants to come out here and look at other places and stuff, but I just don't know the area at all.
Yeah.
I don't know Bushwick or Williamsburg or any of it.
Are you a Delaware guy?
That's where I'm born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how long has it been since you left home?
I've been in New York City, I guess, for now 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm. My wife and I graduated from musical theater college.
Nice.
And quickly moved to New York City to pursue our dreams to be on Broadway and stuff. I'm an equity actor, but I would say in the last couple of years we've hard focused on more TV film production kind of stuff.
What's an equity actor?
That's the union for Broadway.
Okay.
like stage actors.
Oh.
That's their union. It's called Equity. So we have like
My
SAG
dumbass thought
and
like you
Equity.
only do commercials for like financial companies, like
Me in general, or union.
That's what I thought an equity actor was.
No, yeah, no. The Equity Union is for like stage and theater people.
Okay.
And then SAG would be the other union for like TV film.
Got
and then
it.
I believe commercials are AFTRA or something. It's a smaller union. But yeah, I moved to the city. Didn't want to go and move back to Delaware. That's my parents are there, so I do get to go back often. But will I move back there? Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You met your wife in college?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My wife and I, Beatriz Naranjo, met at. Hold on. My wife and I, Beatriz Naranjo.
Got it.
That's gonna get me some brownie points
Really?
later with my wife. She'd be like, "Thank you for fixing that."
Nice.
Yeah. We met in college, and then actually, like you and your wife, we got married at Town Hall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
She was. Without getting too far into her information, the government was trying to force her out.
Yeah.
And that just pushed our wedding plans up sooner. And we invited all of our friends and family. They all came in within days of this happening, and there was probably like 15 of us at City Hall to do the ceremony.
That's cool, yeah.
And then we hopped over to like a private space for a little shindig.
celebration.
A little something.
So how long have you
afterwards.
been married now?
Since 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the game for a while now.
Yes, we're past the 7-year itch.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a thing, right? Like if you can.
I've heard of it. Did it happen to us? I think it was like 8 years in that someone told me what that was.
Oh, okay, good. You didn't even know.
I had no idea,
that's
so
cool,
I
that's
wasn't
cool.
itchy at all.
See, we were together for like 4 years, but we've only been married now like 3-4 months.
Nice.
So I don't know if the 7 years starts at marriage or at the beginning of a relationship.
It's
So.
probably a combination of both, because we've also too, before we even got married, we've been together since like 2015.
Okay.
And I've known her since about 2011. So we really, in our journey, came together after a long time, and it's been nice. My wife and I are working together now. She's
one of the executive producers on the film, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You two are also the Uncultured Swine collective?
Yeah, that's our production company. Yeah,
Okay.
Uncultured Swine's about 2 years old. We have a podcast that you were watching earlier, The Marvel of Horror. I have some comedy writing that I do as well. And then this past month, we actually have finished working on our first feature film, and that's kind of why I'm here to talk about it today with you.
Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Tell me about the Conspiracists.
Yeah,
what it's all about, how it even came to fruition.
The Conspiracists was brought to me and Beatriz around 2020. The writer team, Michael Perry Jr. and his wife Lacey Riley, showed us the first version of this, and over a couple years together with some assistance, we finessed it and worked it into a good form. And I would say last summer, my wife and I approached them to fully commit to their project. So we had to convince them to let us produce it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after some adjusting to the script, I would say, fully jumped into the project in November, in Delaware, actually.
Just November of this past year? Oh, so pretty recently.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. We're excited to have a schedule and a timeline and really stick to it. So we're on track. We're finished post-production, and next weekend we'll have our first screening.
Wow.
Yeah. For 2 small audiences to get kind of a questionnaire going and get some data,
Okay.
get some feedback from a larger demographic. Because right now it's me and 2 other producers, an editor, and the director having to collaborate and make this happen. And I'd say, like, with comedy, everyone thinks that their farts smell good.
I see.
It's only when someone else says, "Hey, that shit stinks," that you start to correct whatever it is that you're working on.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have an online screener going in the next week and that in-person screening. And then March 1st will be our first festival deadline that we're submitting to.
And you guys have already decided like a couple festivals you guys are trying to
yeah, it's a feature film. So I think when you're playing with a movie that's an hour and a half, you have to kind of play in the big leagues.
Okay.
I would say it's kind of a waste to submit to smaller festivals. So we are excited to submit to the big dogs. TIFF will be our first one that we're hitting. And then me, as a producer, a goal for me in the festival world was to submit to other smaller festivals in comedy hotspots.
Oh, interesting.
So like New York City, LA, and Chicago, of course, but I'm excited to try and get into some of the Austin film festivals. Because I'm sure you know of Kill Tony and the Mothership.
For sure, yeah.
They're really a magnet for comedy right now. And I want to get this film to the right people who I would say, like yourself, have a finger on the pulse of comedy.
Oh, you are being very kind.
Well, I mean it, I do mean it. And the kindness comes from me saying thank you for letting me be on your show. That's really where I'm coming from. And I wanted to start with you because I want stand-up comedians to see this.
Oh, okay.
You stand-up comedians, and I love stand-up comedy as well. I haven't done my first open mic yet, but I've written cabarets and stuff like that. So I've been in front of crowds. But my goal was to share it with stand-up comedians and comedy podcasters because you guys have an instant gratification thing.
Yeah, we do.
With comedy.
I understand what you mean.
You have your jokes, you have your punchlines, and you get that audience reaction instantly.
Right.
So y'all know what's funny now.
Oh.
Yeah. So having this film put in front of the right people is my goal. Because I would say I want the opinions of comedy professionals over, film buffs or actors.
Why is that? Why do you feel like you are seeking the comedy side of it a little bit more than the film side of it?
I would say selfishly, I do want to be a comedy director and a writer.
Okay.
I have a few pieces out that I've written and created. Actually, the writer of The Conspiracists, one of the writers, Michael Perry, is also an awesome musician.
Oh. And
him and I collaborated on a comedy last year that I did. So we've worked together a lot of times.
Another film?
Yeah, it was actually a scripted web series.
Okay.
Called The Clam. It is New York City's #1 supervillain. He is on a mission to spread his clammy hands around the world, one hand at a time. And in 10 episodes, you watch this micro comedy where this evil supervillain tries to grow in villainy fame. And by the end of the 10th episode, he does get a little bit of news notoriety in New York City.
And his name is The Clam?
The Clam.
All right. Can we find this online?
You can, yeah,
right,
sure.
Cool.
Yeah, The Clam _IG _TikTok _YouTube. We are on Only Clams as well. And and
I don't know if that's real.
No, it's not. No,
that would have been great if you guys bought a website called Only.
Yeah, we got the domain already. But you can also see him just running around New York City every once in a while. I took him to Comic-Con this year.
Oh, you were at Comic-Con?
Yeah, it was my first one.
Oh, how'd you like it? We were at Comic-Con.
You went this year?
Yeah.
Did you go Sunday or what day did you go? I could only get the Sunday tickets.
I'm trying to remember. I think we did Friday, Saturday.
Those are the better days.
Yeah.
So do you have like who were the stars? The panel.
What we were really bummed that we missed is because we tried to get in, but the line was so long. The What We Do in the Shadows panel.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
It was, and it sucks when you start seeing like the reels online.
Yeah,
and I like share a lot of What We Do in the Shadows stuff with my wife, but I don't. If I see like a video from Comic-Con, I don't really want to share that to remind her, hey, look what we missed.
Look what we missed.
Yeah.
Look what we could have seen.
Yeah, we were like this close, but instead I went and bought a toy instead.
Yeah, it happens.
It does.
Toy was worth it for sure. Probably.
Listen, I won't say that out loud or so that It sucks too because it's it was their last season,
Yeah.
so it was their like last foray together. So we'll see.
Maybe they could come back. Maybe it'll be a resurgence, or
Yeah,
hopefully they'll have a
then we'll catch
spin-off
'em.
in some what that's like a mockumentary world that they
Yeah.
live in.
You and mockumentary. That's the Conspiracists is a mock. You see how I'm bringing this? Back?
No, it's
the Conspiracists is a mockumentary style comedy, right?
Yes, yeah. The Conspiracists is a mockumentary comedy feature film that is kind of reminiscent of Christopher Guest's films. Do you know that director and
I
writer?
know who he is, but I don't really know what you mean by that.
He did Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman. These were all mockumentary style movies where the acting troupe, which is actually like Eugene Levy and Kathy O'Hara, that's where they got their start. This troupe of actors would, embody these odd characters in their world, whether it was like Best in Show is a bunch of people going to a dog event. Yeah. And so you follow them around. So the Conspiracists kind of resembles that as well. All of these interesting characters are coming together at the end of the film for the first all-inclusive conspiracy convention called ConCon. Yeah. And without giving away the plot, the climax of the film happens at ConCon.
Oh, cool.
In front of the crowd of people at the keynote speaker moment where the star comes up. And
so convention, did you guys have to put together this faux convention then yourselves? How was that like?
It was great.
Yeah.
I went to Comic-Con weeks before starting filming.
Oh.
And it was my first time going. And
Was any part of that like to do some reconnaissance?
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I really wanted to take it in and experience it as much as I could.
Had you ever been to any type of convention before Comic-Con?
No, not at all, actually. I've been to a food and wine convention, but that's so different.
Yeah.
You're walking around and trying samples, you know.
Yeah.
So this was actually so nice. And
Was Comic-Con overwhelming at all?
not
to
at
you?
all.
Yeah, cool.
It was really exciting for me because I went alone.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I was happy I did meet up with some friends, but I quickly snuck away from them because I wanted to see every inch of the place.
Nice.
And I did go up and down the aisles multiple times and really take it in. And then I made, I budgeted myself because I could have spent an endless amount there.
It's very easy to lose. It's like Vegas. You can lose so much money.
Yes.
In it. Yeah.
And just meeting some of, the fan or the
fans. Yeah, the fans of the Clam. Yeah.
I did get to meet some fans of the Clam. I did dress up as the Clam and selfishly promote him at Comic-Con. The only person that recognized me, which really mattered a lot, it really was so sweet that he even knew who I was a guy named Straw Hat Goofy. He is a famous movie commenter. He got big on TikTok. And what I was doing with the Clam was going on to live streams as the Clam and chatting people up.
Yeah.
To try and get them to engage with me more, So I'd jump in and say, "Hello, this is the Clam. Beware." And he was someone who would always be kind and say hello back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm walking out of Comic-Con and just happily, exiting the building, and there he is saying hi to fans. And I walk right up to him, and before I could say anything, he goes, "The Clam!"
Wow.
And gave me like a big hug, and he took a picture with me, and it was just the cherry on top for the day.
That's funny.
That this guy knew who the Clam was.
That's awesome.
It was neat,
That's
man.
awesome.
It was really cool.
It's so because I remember one time I was with my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. We were on a little like weekend getaway in I think in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And
the Poconos?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I think it was the Poconos.
I know
it. And we stopped into like this little cute cafe or a coffee shop or whatever. And the person that, I guess the barista or whatever that gave us our coffee, she came up to me afterwards. She's like, "You look familiar." And I was like, "Yeah? I'm not sure." And she walked away, and I go to my girlfriend. I'm like, "Imagine she recognizes me from my podcast." And
She could have.
she's like, no.
Yeah.
And then she comes back, and we figured out we just went to the same wedding one time.
You're like this close to plugging your podcast with her.
I was about to be
like, you must know it, right?
You must follow me. I'm Will Bryant, Bryant. She was gonna be like, no, I'm Adam's girlfriend. I'm like, oh shit.
You're like, oh, fuck.
I was
Now I
so
understand.
glad I didn't mention my podcast.
Yeah.
Though. But like, I'm so the gall of my ego to be like, she probably knows me from my podcast, you know. So.
And you know, honestly though, if you're not going to promote yourself, who's going to do it for you?
Yeah.
So
I guess so. What I'm trying to say is the clam more famous than Will Bryant. So
no, not at all.
Not at all.
No. One day,
maybe Will Bryant can be like the Robin to the clam. Well,
I'm down to have you on.
You're a villain, right? So I need to be a villainous.
Technically, he's an anti-hero, like a Deadpool kind of thing.
Okay.
Because I think that's where the comedy lies, is his confliction of wanting to be this evil supervillain. But I think
whose goal is just to put his clam hands on people. Is that
just to spread his clammy hands around the world. He does have there are episodes that kind of divert off into subplots and stuff, but I would say it's hard to pin down what is evil nowadays. So I think that'll be the next season, is he's just uber conflicted as to what his mission is.
Okay.
How do you be an evil supervillain when evil and supervillain is so conflicting in our current political climate? You know,
wow.
Depends on who you ask what is evil and what's not. Some people may say that's alternative evil or an alternative factor.
So
I don't know.
The clam is going deep in season 2.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
If
there's a season 2, we'll
I was
see.
about to say, did we just find out here that there is a season 2?
I would hope to get back to it. The Conspiracists has definitely been our main focus for the last couple months, but I always have projects that I write and work on in the back of my pocket. I like to storyboard. So I doodle everything and go about it that way.
Do you have like storyboards at home?
Yeah, my office is one half of it is a 6-foot cork board, and the other half is a 6-foot dry erase board.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I'll doodle everything and then print them out, and then leave them up on the board to you can kind of I would say create a structure better that way than because for me personally, writing and grammar and just the formatting of writing scripts is so time consuming. This is way easier for me to achieve what it is I want by doodling and storyboarding and going about it that way. It's nice.
Is writing and creating in general, is that where you get more, enjoyment from, or do you find yourself finding the same amount of joy in producing?
I would say that they're different. They're different for sure. I selfishly love to be an actor.
Right.
That's a luxury. I'm working on a friend's project right now, and it was nice to sit there and be like a small minor character and take everything in. And I don't know, this is so actory, but breathe for a little bit and enjoy the moment of the luxury of not having to coordinate, run this, or email people scheduling stuff.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be an actor sometimes. But right now, my skills really are in producing, on set, production coordinating kind of stuff. The theater training I think I have, I would say I utilize a lot to help and anticipate the needs of others on set. To make sure that the set and the day goes smoothly.
But there was never a conversation about you being in the film yourself?
I was, actually. That's funny you ask. We got to a moment where I would say close to every person on the production side makes a cameo in the film for sure. Okay. Yeah, we just had to... There's moments where you can't hire somebody for a 30-second cutaway. So it would be, my turn to step in, or my wife's turn, and or the funny thing is, when you see this film and you read the credits at the end, there's going to be a moment where the list just starts going: Eddie Layfield, Lloyd Layfield Sr., Larry Layfield, Lisa Layfield. I had maybe every aunt and uncle that I have in the film.
That's nice.
My mom's in it. My dad's in it. My sister helped. My brother-in-law is in it. It's really...
That's awesome.
It was really nice. The community in Delaware came together and helped us make this happen for sure.
You have a supportive, I guess, family that would
I
help
do.
you out. That's
I
pretty
do.
cool,
I would
man.
say now, yeah, they're very, very supportive. They were supportive growing up, but I think this is something common with comedy writers, or at least actors too. There's always someone in your family that is the reason why you moved into your art or your craft.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's either your angry dad didn't support you
Oh,
enough,
gotcha,
or
yeah.
you know,
We all have our muses and
yeah,
something.
we all have that reason,
Yeah.
or a chip on our shoulder, like I got into theater harder because dad didn't go and see it. You know, if only he didn't support me more,
Yeah.
I'd be on Broadway now.
What is this? Is this what your story would be, or what do you think was your muse, your motivation to?
My mom's a
comedic.
singer, and
Oh, really?
like that definitely is how I got into it. I was a choir boy.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to art school right at a young age, so performing and singing.
Like your mom is like she sang professionally.
Mhm.
See, I've always thought that it. See, my parents just blue collar all the way.
Mhm.
I always was jealous of people whose parents were able to make a living in like unconventional ways in a way, because I feel like then immediately you grow up knowing it's possible.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So for me, like even though I wanted to get into the kind of stuff that I do now, directly out of high school, my mentality was still go to college, get a regular job, you know,
Make money.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't really look at it practically speaking. Like I can follow these other creative outlets and make it a profession. It took me, you know, falling on my ass in the real world to realize and tell myself, no, go and follow the stuff that you want to do and try to monetize that in some way.
Yeah.
So I've always been a little bit jealous of people like you that realized pretty early on, like you can follow that. It seems like because you even went to school right away for you know, for creative reasons too. So
yeah, it is a luxury for
damn you,
sure.
Clint.
I would say I would say the arts is definitely a luxury, and it sucks that it's getting more expensive to even take in the arts. You know, that really is a disappointing thing, because the arts are important. People should go out and experience things and open up their minds to different cultures or arts or anything, because it just makes you a better person in some ways.
Sure.
But I was very fortunate to have parents that were supportive and let me follow these silly dreams. And personally, I hope to repay them in small ways with my career. So
Sure.
I have musicals I've written for my mom, and movies I've written for my mom and dad, and they've always just been there supporting. So anything that I can do to give back to them is definitely a goal.
The Conspiracists.
Yeah.
Is this your biggest undertaking as a producer yet?
Yeah. Yes. My wife and I, this is our company's first feature film. But our partner producing company, King Creative, they're based in Wilmington. Chris Bruce is the head of that department there, and he has been working in production for years. And when we approached him to join the project, it really was like the gates of heaven opening up in Delaware for us. And Chris Bruce was standing there with the light shining behind him. He knows so many people. He is so well connected and just so genuinely good and giving, especially in the Delaware area, that we were lucky to have him. And he's been a great mentor and a person to support this project.
Did you know him before?
Yeah, we grew up doing theater together.
Oh, very cool.
In Delaware, so it was nice to kind of come back and reconnect that way.
So you went back to Delaware to do this then?
What
was the decision making behind filming it in Delaware?
We got a grant from the Delaware Film and Television Commission.
Okay.
That's just part of their art grant program. We submitted and got really close with the people in charge there, the chairman and everything. And once we got that green light, that small bit of funding was the moment that we decided, okay, this is what we're fully going to invest in. Then we got some small personal investments from friends and family, and then we also, as a business, have some funds going into it. But yeah, this is our first big project as a production company.
What's
the full feature?
What's
project.
the role of you as a producer to try to get this off the ground then?
In this specific one,
Yeah.
it's been nice that the process has been collaborative
Okay.
because Michael Perry and his wife, the writers, have such a strong comedy bone. And we in Uncultured Swine and at King Creative also have our own comedy vibes and feelings, that it's been nice to come together and have less pushback collaboratively and an open bit of dialogue between all of us. You know, I think things are funnier than what they might not see, you know, so it's been very fun to have that back and forth to polish this film in the best way we can in a good collaborative way.
Were you involved at all in the casting process?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of us, yeah. We
Yeah.
all took part in the casting process, which was fun. I'd say my skills are definitely in production coordinating and like on-set production stuff.
Like what?
The day-to-day running around
Yeah.
when we're filming is where I thrive.
Really?
Yeah, I move like a mile a minute. I'm going, and I like to be there to make sure that everyone is taken care of.
Did you know that going into the film, or is that something you learned about yourself while doing this?
I knew that about myself already, just by being an actor. Selfishly, I always wanted people to take care of the actor a bit more on set.
Oh.
So my feelings were, I'm going to make sure that these people feel seen and taken care of. So that was to give you an idea of some of the hurdles. It would be things like, you know, dietary restrictions that were really specific for certain actors.
Mm-hmm.
And just nailing that on the day of is such a big win, I would say, for an actor. You know, they're working so hard to just do whatever it is they can to be in the best mindset.
Mm-hmm.
The least you can do is give them something good to eat that they can eat, you know?
Yeah.
So,
You're such a good boss. Look at you.
definitely not a boss.
No, you didn't.
No.
You're not looked at as a executive producer walks on set. You know, you think, oh man, you know.
No.
Mr. Layfield.
Not at all.
Mr.
My wife and Christopher Bruce were definitely the leaders and the bosses. My go-to was if I was telling someone something to do and there was a little pushback, I'd say, please know that this didn't come from me. Nothing that I am asking of you.
Throwing other people under the bus. I love it. My wife thinks you should.
Yeah, you know, they're asking for this. Can you do it? And they'd be like, no. I'm like, I'm not asking. They're asking, but just do it for them.
I'm just a middleman.
Yeah. But I do like to write comedy too. So in the post-production side of things, I have been very active on giving feedback on timing and joke quality and variety of jokes too, because I really do love Michael and Lacey's writing. I've always aligned with their writing, but we need to make sure that we're open to like variety and things that are going to grab other people's funny bones, if that makes sense. It can't be one-noted.
Was it your wife that found the script initially? Is that what I?
Yeah, she was the first one that Michael approached with the script, and she really led.
How does that happen? I'm completely like ignorant to how that process works. I've only had somebody that has put together a play before. I've had somebody put together a one-man show be on this podcast. I've never had someone behind a movie. How does one come across a script in the first place? Are there like channels online where people are uploading their own work?
Probably. Yeah, there's probably like Reddit forums of like filmmakers and stuff like that. I would say getting your work. This is a hard question to answer. This Michael Perry, my wife and his wife, we were connected for a long time through musical theater, and they regularly would have playwriting events or workshops. Yeah, especially actually in COVID, they hosted multiple online Zoom readings of new works, either theirs or friends. Yeah, so we'd get invited and. As an actor, you would be, brought on to read the first version of it out loud. So we actually read the first version of the Conspiracists in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
A while ago.
And then I would say around 2023 was when we grabbed onto the script again to polish it more. So we passed it over to some of our professional writer friends in the industry. Another close filmmaker friend of ours got to read it as well. And with those notes, we structured the script to be what it is now.
Nice. How long from the process, like the moment you guys decided, right, we're going to do this movie, how long till the actual day one of shooting?
My wife moved to Delaware 2 months prior to filming in November.
Okay.
So that was the biggest bulk of pre-production work. And then November 1st was actually our first day of filming. We filmed 11 days over the election.
Wow.
Yeah. Our biggest day where we put on the convention was November 5th.
Okay.
After the election. So we asked, 50 extras to come in, be a part of this fake conspiracy convention, and also check their politics at the door.
Ooh.
That was tough.
Yeah.
All of us on the production side, we didn't anticipate any issues, but we had to keep that in the back of our mind that people were going to be affected by this kind of thing, whether they'd side with whoever or not, Luckily, though, that day was smooth as hell and awesome, man. No issues at all. So funny. And we had a large group of people take part in acting. And some of them were just, friends and family who had never even been in a film.
That must have been a fun day.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to love it. The film, as of now, will host the screening, which I can send you an online screener next week if you
awesome.
want.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
And you can there'll be a questionnaire attached to it, and you can just give us your feedback, and then we go from there.
We'll do.
Yeah, thank you. But I don't know. I don't remember what my point was there, but it really is such a special film, and I'm excited for people to see it, and it's fucking hilarious.
So I saw the teaser trailer for it, and I was immediately impressed. I was a little what's the word? There's a little bit of trepidation, because I was so terrified that I was gonna hate it. And when you sent
it, great. That's okay. And you didn't.
No, not at all. Because within the first 5 seconds, I was like, "Oh, this looks like a real film.
It's well done.
It's not like you're walking around with like a GoPro or something like that. Yeah, and
this is full feature. A lot of funding went into the project, and actually in our group of people that we're sending screeners out to, we've tapped on a lot of industry friends that are respected and high up that will give us good advice. I've been kind of pestering people. I was pestering podcast hosts and stand-up comedians and comedy producers, and I was pestering a lot of them, just slipping into DMs on Instagram and just, hey man, I love your work. Let's talk about this. And and it was really nice to just get genuine responses. I kind of figured people would just slam the door in my face, but no.
You gotta try though.
It was nice, man.
I like your moxie and how you try to get that done.
You can't lose anything. All they're gonna say is no.
And that's also another role of the producer, though. Like your job's not done. You have to now promote this thing, get the word out there, right?
And sell it.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is go through this screening process, take in the feedback, adjust, and then enter into the festival world. Do you know anything about the film festival world?
A little bit. I had a guest on last year who recently got her short film into festivals.
Yeah.
So I guess I've talked with somebody that worked on a short film, but nothing of this magnitude.
This size. The film festival worlds are really interesting. I learned a lot last year with the Clam, putting it through the process. I will say the Clam, as of this week, got its first non-exclusive distribution deal.
Okay, nice.
So you will see some more of it on a larger platform. Didn't get accepted into film festivals.
All right, it's okay. The Clam, they're not ready for the Clam.
Me and Can had, differences, so we both passed. It's okay, Can. We can talk about it again later. They did actually pass, but I got their submission waiver like 80% off of my submission fee.
Okay.
To submit for it. So I was like, why not?
Whatever. I didn't even think about the fact that there would be waivers to
submit.
Yeah,
like sense. Discount codes.
I guess so. Wow.
Yeah. So the festival world, I hope you're ready. The Conspiracists is coming. We're hitting 7 major film festivals over the next year, just submitting. I hope we get in.
Yeah.
The goal is to get in, get it screened to a large audience, and then, get to that networking event to try and sell it.
So this is a big year for the film. This is the year that you guys are trying to get it out and get it seen then.
Yeah, I would say this is the first year that Uncultured Swine and King Creative are really pushing a feature film to get out there and get made. And we're following a good schedule. We've got a lot of momentum going. And now we have awesome press opportunities like this one to just amplify it more.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people make films, friends of mine, and then their Instagrams are popping off for weeks and weeks and weeks while they're filming it. And then post-production time frame comes and you don't hear from them for months.
Right.
You lose that momentum, that drive that people had for your film. So I don't want that ball to drop. So that's my goal. I've been setting up a press tour myself.
Nice.
Just this February and March, I'm on like 7 podcasts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
great.
really, really fun.
Yeah.
And they're all like niche ones. So a stand-up one here, a comic book one here, a movie writing one. It'll be nice, man.
Are you a comic book guy yourself?
I am a little bit. Yeah, my brother-in-law and my sister and we run a podcast called The Marvel of Horror. And that is a horror-based podcast where the host, Bruce Marvel, is a huge Marvel aficionado and horror buff. So I got into it early on. And
Are you not a horror guy yourself, you think?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can take it in for sure. I like it a lot. I'm more of an Alien guy.
Oh, really?
I love them. I'm obsessed with the culture. I think it's real neat.
Oh, that looks cool.
It's
yeah.
cool, right? So I got this about a year ago. It's my first one. And
oh, even your shirt. Oh no.
Your
man,
shirt
I
didn't
too.
get to this is from the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
This is the fake conspiracy forum that they create in the film. So
for people listening, he has a shirt that says the Truth Serum.
Exactly.
And it looks like it's like a spaceship / test tube type of thing. That's actually really cool.
That's a good word, test tube.
Yeah.
A beaker.
That's true. Yeah, beaker. All right.
Yeah,
cool,
that's
cool.
what it is.
Nice.
You know what it is. But the Truth Serum is this conspiracy forum that one of the lead characters invents, and it really connects.
What a great name too.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be like it should. This should exist somewhere.
It feels real. It's like a sub website to 4chan kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
And all of the main characters are connected together because of the Truth Serum. So it really brings them all together. It's nice.
I actually wanted to ask, like, in the movie, is there a lot of talk about specific conspiracies? So did you have to yourself get into conspiracies to get into this film?
Yes, for sure. And I have to start by saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy researcher.
Okay.
Because the second you start getting into conspiracies, every person thinks you're crazy. Yeah. And with that being said, I wanted to make sure that I didn't come off too crazy. I wanted to be more grounded with some facts. No, just coming off as a conspiracy theorist. I wanted to make sure that I come off more researched than crazy.
With that being said, though,
with that being said, yes, in my research we did in the film. They mentioned that there are conventions for the big guys like aliens and Bigfoots, but the goal of our main characters was to create the first all-inclusive conspiracy convention where they bring in the smaller ones, little niche ones.
By
that
all
people
inclusive, they mean all types of conspiracies.
Exactly, the big and small. Yeah.
I did not know that that's what they meant.
The inclusivity of it all.
Yeah, I thought it was in our lifetime the LGBT communities all coming together. To put together. So all inclusive meaning different.
It sounds like a gay conspiracy convention.
Honestly, like maybe a little bit, or whatever race you are. Yeah. Whatever. All allowed. Democrat, Republican, all inclusive. That's what I thought it was this entire time.
That's even funnier now. That makes it funny too. That's not what it is.
And the funny thing is that, like, I thought that, but then I didn't really see anything like that, like on the website, and then you show me the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting that from the trailer either.
Yeah, we wanted to focus on those smaller conspiracies.
Okay.
So we actually had to invent a bunch of them.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, like I went through and did tons of research because I like the topics,
Yeah.
you know.
And I was about to ask you, what are some of the smaller ones? But...
I'd love to tell you. Well, we can kind of divert into some. Some of the ones that we had to create were fun because we had to make the convention, you know.
Yeah.
So imagine a gymnasium with 15 booths, all specific to whatever that conspiracy is, plus an audience crowd in front of a stage, you know? So coming together and collaborating to make all of these conspiracy booths, all of the different things, was really fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It was neat. We have one of my favorite booths are two side-by-side guys where it's flat earth and sub-earth. Or maybe it's flat Earth and super Earth.
Ooh, I don't know what super Earth is.
Super Earth is a newer conspiracy where it kind of aligns with flat Earth. They still do believe that we're not round, we're on a disc shape, but they claim that the poles, like in Antarctica, are actually an ice wall around our entire planet. And beyond the ice wall is more Earth. More super Earth. So
Earth.
Yeah, and they say that that's where you'll find like Valhalla and Atlantis and Tartaria, like different.
What's Tartaria?
Tartaria is my favorite one. That's why I brought it up.
Okay, you guys, because I get Atlantis, I get the other one that you said. What was that?
I don't know. We're getting
Tartaria. This is now
Tartaria is the important one.
Yeah, what is that?
This is my favorite conspiracy, and it kind of aligns with the World's Fair, the 1800 World's Fairs. You ever hear about the Chicago World's Fair or the St. Louis World's Fair?
So I'm born and raised in Queens, New York, and the Queens famously had a World's Fairs. I think they had two World's Fairs.
Did the Queens one burn up in a fire?
No, I think that's the Chicago one.
It is, yeah. Okay. So a lot of them were either a freak accident happened and they demolished all of it because of a fire, or a week later they just demolished everything. And so you can go and look at pictures of these World's Fairs and see grand buildings made out of like stone that are resembling like Grecian style churches or European style churches overseas. You can also find pictures where there's ivy growing on those same buildings. And so the claim that they built these fairs weeks before it happened and then quickly dismantled them is kind of crazy when you look at the pictures, because you can see massive buildings and large football field like Ferris wheels and moving floors and stuff. They had technology that they were showcasing at these fairs that were like otherworldly and way too big for the horse and buggy style people that were working at the time. Okay. So the Tartarians, the conspiracy is that there wasn't just a race of Native American people here in the United States. There was another race, the Tartarians. And their buildings are what we now have hiding in plain sight. So don't let me lose you yet.
I'm with you so far.
The idea is that the colonizers came over and killed off the Tartarians and told everyone this lovely story about the Indians and Thanksgiving, which we now know is kind of fabricated. Like they went and killed all those people. They didn't share a dinner with those people.
They weren't splitting the wishbone with Native Americans.
Yeah, they weren't. They were taking wishbones from them, you know? And so the idea is that the race of Tartarian people there were still there, but the colonizers came in and were done with what they were doing. So here's where maybe there's some research and proof into this theory. Maybe. Go to your whatever city you're in or wherever you are, go to your town hall or your public library or your government building that's in the area. And these buildings are massive and they're built out of stone and they'll be claimed to be built around the 1800s, 1900s, whatever. Churches are the same way. Massive churches, like you can see them around New York City. the tops of these specific buildings have copper peaks. And the idea is that the Tartarians, which I believe Nikola Tesla was one of them, they were working on systems of like buildings where you could pull electricity out of static air, you know?
Okay.
You've seen Nikola Tesla's thing.
His thing, yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. The metal ball with the electricity. I'm pretty sure it's called a Tesla coil. Like,
yes,
whatever.
That sounds better, but the Tesla thing is what we're gonna go.
I like
with.
it better. That's Thomas Edison was like, I want that Tesla thing. Give me that shit.
Most of what I know from Tesla comes from that movie, The Prestige. I don't know if you ever saw.
I've seen that. Is he a magician in that one?
Well, not Tesla. Tesla's
no,
a real
but
person.
it's Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. I think David Bowie plays Nikola Tesla.
Does he really?
I think he might be. Now that I think about it.
Well, so the theory is that
don't worry, there's a lot of electricity whenever Tesla was around too. So yeah.
Well,
I don't think he ever said, "Here's my thing," though.
No, he showed it off. There's pictures of him showing off his thing. That sounds dirty.
Oh, Tesla's
like,
thing.
Get that guy out of here. He's putting dick selfies out there
Tesla's
for the world.
coiled thing keeps making appearances everywhere he goes.
Well, the idea is that the Tartarian buildings with Tesla's inventions were able to pull electricity out of the natural environment and charge the buildings that they were running off.
Huh.
So let's go back to the 1800s and those Chicago World Fairs and the pictures of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can see electricity being used in these buildings.
Right, yeah.
They also claim to have like Ferris wheels and moving floors and technology and stuff like that they were like, we're done. Just throw that shit away.
Huh.
Delete these buildings and rip them down.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of doesn't make sense to do that. To build something so massive, whether it's with cheap materials or not, why would you tear it down? You can still find some of these buildings, like in, I went to San Francisco a year ago, and there's like a large stone atrium in a park that is still from that 1800s time period, and it just looks like it looks like the way the pyramids are, how people think that the pyramids were built before the Egyptians and stuff. It's just odd.
So the people that are into the Tartarian conspiracy, why do they think they were torn down? Why is it gone?
I would say cover up kind of stuff, or
that they even existed.
Yeah, they just want to just get rid of them to just kind of
and the fact
keep
that,
going with the narrative.
The fact that Tesla was one means like there's still like a lineage of them or something like
the Tesla one's a bit of a like we're getting a web now in this conspiracy, and this is a leg that kind of branches off. The weird conspiracy with Tesla is that he died, and then you know who bought all the patents?
Wasn't it Edison?
Exactly. Yeah, the Edison company bought all of his patents and stopped putting them out. They stopped working on his ideas of free energy and pulling natural energy out of the air, and instead we now have wires, correct, so that they can control the amount of electricity going in and out. It's a money thing. It's a neat one, man. Here's another more mainstream one that a lot of people know. It's the Avril Lavigne one.
You
don't know this one?
No.
It's awesome.
Okay.
It's neat. It's neat, man. This one's cool. So there's a theory that Avril Lavigne, at the height of her career, like right after Skater Boy,
right? Yeah.
They said, "See you later, boy." There was a theory that she got into an accident and died.
Okay.
And then the music industry hired this woman who looks just like her. I think her name's like Melanie or something. Yeah. And she was the person that they were claiming to be the new Avril Lavigne. I think that there's now videos of Avril Lavigne in the last year talking to a news reporter being like, yes, I know of the theory. No, it's not true. But that's what she wants you to think.
That's exactly what Melanie would say.
Exactly what Melanie would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Avril. Melanie.
And you know what's funny? Like I do remember, like, let's say it happened right around Skater Boy.
Yeah.
She never really did anything bigger. Like she her biggest hit was Skater Boy. So it's obvious that Melanie just didn't have exactly.
She didn't have what it takes. Yeah. She wasn't the real. the real
See,
one
I'm here
that they
thinking
needed.
that you're looking into the JFK assassination. And
I have, for
I didn't
sure.
even think about flat Earth. That's a good one. Bigfoot. And you're throwing Avril Lavigne and Tartarians.
Yeah,
This is
man,
great.
because we had to make up, smaller ones,
What is like so the ones that I named? Those are like the big. That would be like if you go to Comic-Con, they're the Marvel booth and they're the DC booth, right? Like the what I'm. But then like your small independent people, that's the Tartarians and Avril,
smaller things.
the Avril
What's
Lavigne
another-
booth.
The lizard people is kind of
Sure,
a big one.
That's a big one.
There's like
So you would have the alien booth if you were a member
for sure.
of this.
I love the ideas of aliens and the conspiracies behind them. The movie Signs
Yeah.
by M. Night Shyamalan really hooked me as a kid.
Really? That's
I
what
love
got
it.
you?
For
Signs.
sure. That
Okay.
movie for sure. And then The Fourth Kind with Mila Jokovic.
I never saw that.
Great one.
Really?
That one's filmed as if it's a documentary.
Okay.
And she is playing a person who went through an abduction.
Ooh.
Yeah. And by the end, I don't want to spoil that film, but the end of it is wild. They plug in footage of the actual event.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's fake or real, but
Yeah.
you cut away and you see a camera recorded like 3 minutes of this lady getting abducted and embodied by an alien being. It's so scary. It's awesome. It's a great movie.
What was it called again?
The Fourth Kind.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my wife to watch that.
It's
so.
really scary.
Is that your? Would you say that's your favorite alien movie?
Signs is for
Signs
sure.
is?
Yeah.
Did you ever wonder why in Signs, a spoiler for like a 20-year-old movie or whatever?
Watch it, bro. Watch it.
Did you ever wonder why a species of aliens that's biggest weakness is water landed on a planet that's 80% water?
And then that's a huge plot hole,
Yeah,
right?
Like what happened? M. Night.
Come on.
We got it. Like, isn't
that a bit easy?
Wouldn't like if we were trying to find a planet, right? And we find a planet that's 80% lava.
Yeah, yeah. You're not gonna go.
We're not gonna be like, let's just try anyways. You
just
know, like,
dive in.
yeah, we'll just walk around the lava.
If they can survive, we can survive.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, lava doesn't hurt them. Whatever. It's okay.
That is a huge plot hole. We should talk to him about
Yeah,
this.
let's bring it up.
This
Now
is
that
an
you're a mega producer, you're in the industry.
Thank you.
You know, you guys are obviously in the same circle now.
Can I actually say this is funny? You bring it up.
Oh, well,
There is a famous magazine in Delaware that last year my wife and our other producer got on the cover.
what's it called?
It's called Out and About, because the Time Out one is New York City's one.
You sure this isn't an LGBTQ movie?
I'm
You're on the cover of Out and About for this all-inclusive con.
I'm not on the cover. I'm not on the cover. But you can go and see on the cover. It's promoting movies from the Delaware area, and M. Night Shyamalan filmed The Village in Delaware, and then
Oh.
also a bit of
He finally did something outside of Philadelphia.
That's right. A bit of the Dead Poets Society was also filmed in Delaware.
I heard that when I was watching was it
Oh, you saw that press video
on Wilmington?
Exactly.
Good Morning Wilmington. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So they were on the cover with M. Night Shyamalan, Robin Williams, Oprah Winfrey, and Donald Glover's dad. Anyway, Donald Glover's dad. Thank you for being on the cover as well. But yeah, man, they made it on the cover with M. Night Shyamalan.
So you guys are in the same. I wasn't.
It
lying.
blew my mind. I
That's-
loved
you
it,
guys
man.
are in the same circle.
We are now, yeah. We definitely are now.
And you guys all came out at the same time. That's great.
Sure. Oh, of the closet? Come on.
You said sure. That's where the
That's- I
real.
was like,
that's where the real ends,
dang
right there.
it.
At sure.
My dad's going to watch this and go, I knew it.
A marriage
man.
it didn't seem like a real marriage to me.
I knew it. Anyway. Well, to get us back on track, aliens and the conspiracy and stuff. Have you seen the drones? Have you been following the New Jersey
The
drone
Jersey
stuff?
drones.
Mhm.
So you know,
what do you think about that?
you know what's funny is that I working at the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like a lot of my shifts will be 10, 12 hours long, and I'll literally be in a windowless basement making drinks for 12 hours, and I don't, get to watch the, news or just, be on Twitter or whatever, or X, sorry, Elon, to see like stuff like I remember finding out about Luigi and the CEO shooting.
Oh yeah.
Because a comedian started talking about it on stage. You know, like, and I'm looking around like, what happened?
Good timing. Good for that guy.
It was
big risk.
It was like immediate. Like that's how. Like I wasn't working the day that Trump was. They attempted to assassinate him, but I know that my coworkers, they found out about it because somebody went on stage and started making jokes about it immediately.
Yeah.
You know? Like so, a lot of times I don't know what's going on until I'm down there and I hear someone talk about these drones the size of like cars or so taxis, and I'm like. And I look around and I had to do that thing. I'm like, is this real? Is he talking? Is this
Am I crazy or is he
is
crazy?
This a weird premise for a joke? And then my coworker's like, yeah, you didn't hear about the drones in Jersey?
Yeah.
So what do you think is going on there? Or what have you read is going on with these?
I have a couple theories.
Okay.
For those who don't know, the New Jersey drones are like 6-foot sized drones that people keep seeing. I think it started around November that this really kind of started to pick up around Thanksgiving. And
is it still going on?
For sure.
Really?
But
I thought it was like a one night. See, I don't know.
Here's a weird conspiracy around this. On TikTok, if you search the hashtag Dior bags, it's now a code word for drones because drones is getting flagged on social media and suppressed.
Wow.
So you can go on and see commentators being like, did you guys see the latest news on the Dior bags? And that's the code word for New Jersey drones.
So if you look up Dior bags on like TikTok,
I'd say TikTok primarily
you'll
for sure.
You'll get a bunch of drone stuff.
Because it's being, I think, or at least I've noticed, actively suppressed for sure.
Whoa.
Because from my research, what I found is it's probably military contracting kind of stuff. So it's our whether our government knows or not, the military definitely knows what it is. And
has there been an official explanation for it?
There's been multiple official announcements from our government and people in charge saying, in the timeline of it happening, saying we don't know what it is. Oh. Then they're saying that we definitely know what it is and it's not to be worried about. And as of recently, they called it a hoax. So it's very, very weird currently with this whole drone stuff. They're backtracking stuff that they've made official statements on and then going as far to say that the people in New Jersey are crazy. Don't let them call you crazy, New Jersey. I've seen your videos too. The weird part is I do know a bit of, just from my research, I do know a bit more of the alien technology side or the military technology side. I've just researched crafts and that kind of stuff in my free time. So what I would logically think it is a drone system where they're calling it non-intelligent life. What is the acronym? NIH or something, or NHI?
Non-intelligent life. NIL.
Non-intelligent something. Anyway, they're calling it non-intelligent life to say that it's not a person or
the drones themselves.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think it's just AI systems, and they're running on a program where they just have to search and find each other. So imagine if there's 3 drones in one at the top of New Jersey, one at the bottom, and one in Delaware, and when they're turned on to run said AI program, the on switch is something as simple as find your brother.
Yeah.
They don't have connection through the GPS or whatever. I'm not sure how they would be able to ping back and forth to find each other, but I would just say it's a shared consciousness AI that those drones are just working and doing military routines to practice.
I love the idea that the military is running these tests and they're like, where should we do it? Like, just do it in Jersey.
New Jersey. Nobody's going to believe them anyway.
Nobody's going to care. It's going to, who's going to listen to them?
I think it is funny too that of all places, New Jersey, there was a theory that they were looking for like dirty bombs and like, things to move away from logic and move into more conspiracy stuff. If it is aliens, which would be fun and neat, I guess, I would say that you have seen videos of the drones looking like drones where, 4 propellers on equal sides and everything. But now the videos are showing them transform to orbs And those are big things in the UFO community or UAP community.
Yeah.
And the
What's
orb,
unidentified aerial?
they changed it from UFO to UAP because it's
because UFO started getting offended, and they were like, we don't want to be called that anymore.
They're also not also flying anymore. Some of them are now in the water as well.
Ooh, okay,
so UAP is anomalous phenomenon is the AP part of it.
Yeah.
Unidentified fuck me.
Oh, you had it the first
anomalous.
time. You should have quit while you were ahead.
I know. We'll cut this part out. Let's cut this part out.
Amplified. I'm zooming in on you. All that stuff.
Well, the idea is that the orb is either dispelling gravity away from it, from the center point of the flight or the vehicle. They're dispelling gravity. And I hope I don't lose people on this. Imagine looking into a pond of a koi pond. You know, when you look at the fish, they seem magnified.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because of the water, right? They look bigger. Imagine that at a 10 times or 100 times the scale inside the vehicle. So imagine it's reflecting light away, and that's why it glows as an orb. It's taking in light and reflecting it out the opposite way at 100 times the size. So if we go back to that fish and we zoomed in on it 100,000 times, you'd probably only see the color orange,
right?
In a large sense.
Interesting.
So the glowingness is whatever the device is. I think it's a gravitational device,
right?
That's just expelling gravity away, causing light to reflect off of it.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember, since you're the UFO guy, the conspiracy guy here?
Yeah.
The account of pilots seeing an object in the air that they were actually flying towards purposely.
The Tic Tac.
Yeah, exactly. And that they described the way that this, for anyone that doesn't know, that's literally what they were referring to it as, a Tic Tac shaped, I guess, UAP. That was seen flying over the air, and I guess the government purposely sent pilots
like
to the location, and it moved in a way that no technology that we have is capable of. And,
it made like right turn.
Yeah, and the way they described it moving was similar to what you're describing, where like it wasn't like it was using the normal Earth methods to move through air. Like it wasn't
like
jet propulsion and thrust, correct?
Yeah.
It's as if it was just moving effortlessly through, as if they're manipulating gravity itself.
Or detangible, not tangible, like not held down to the gravity. I have seen the TikTok thing. It's funny, for the film.
Tic Tac.
The Tic Tac. For the film, we wanted to put in one of the whistleblowers that came forward from the government. His name is Luis Elizondo. He's been touring for the last year or so promoting his book that came out. It's called Imminent. This is not a plug or an advertisement for him at all. I just love his work and I love the book. And I actually, as a producer, went through the process of getting it into our film. Oh, no worries. There you go. Nice. Well, so we wanted to use his book, Imminent, as a prop in the film. So I had to call the publisher and, get a licensing deal to have that book in our film.
To go through the proper channels.
Exactly. Just to get it legally and get the rights.
Have you read the book?
Love it. I
love
really?
It.
It's really great. You should read it.
You are into conspiracy. You tried to say that you're not a conspiracist yourself. You are kind of into
this. I have to say, is grounded in research and facts.
Oh,
he's a whistleblower. He worked for high levels in the government. So what he's coming forward.
He's blowing whistles on like alien stuff.
Yes, he's talking about disclosure, how it's imminent and coming. But his goal.
Wait, what's that?
Just a grander show of some kind of alien presence.
Okay.
He's going on to say that we are not alone and the government has been hiding and covering this up. And his goal is to bring it out and talk about it more so that the government agencies can work together and share information better.
Right.
Because they're not. They're all keeping it secretive.
I have heard about this a little bit, actually. this person, what's his name?
Luis Elizondo.
So when you just said that his idea is to have more open communication about it, that like compartmentalization of what's going on is he basically believes that's a big reason why there's so little known about what's going on, is that if this side of the government knows this thing and they're keeping it a secret, and this side is knowing this and they keep it a secret, and there's no communication, then there's not going to be any advancement in the field at all.
That's right. It's being held secret, and I would say in the last couple of years, other countries are forcing America to come clean with the truth, because there's other countries now coming out with their data and their information. Brazil has a lot of alien contact and research that they've collected over the years, the Vatican as well. So all of these other countries coming clean with what they know is forcing America to also live it a bit better.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so to wrap Luis Elizondo and his book up with a nice bow, I had to convince the publisher that the image on the front of the book was fair game for us. On the book, Imminent, is the picture of the Tic Tac in black and white. It's a picture of it. And so they called me back with concerns of the image and having the rights for the image. And because I read the book and love this topic so much, I was able to inform them that the picture was part of the Freedom of Information Act. And thus it's public domain, and I won't get in trouble.
So then I guess you got the okay for
we
the
did,
book,
yes. You can see it. There's a small moment where the lead character is talking about the book, and it's just a small nod and a bit more of it gives more weight to it if we're coming with, real things. And this book is hot, man. This book came out like this year.
Right.
So to get it's a privilege for me to have it in our film for sure.
Nice. Was that a youth thing? Is that your fingerprint on the film, wanting that book?
Yeah, you have to pick and choose what you fight for and stuff. So when we got to, moments to pitch little artistic flares and stuff, I because I did have to pay a bit of a fee just to have the rights to the book. So that was taken from our budget, So I had to convince them to give me that bit of cash that could have been used on anything else. But I really think the people who are into this topic and into the UFO community are gonna love seeing that book in our film.
It's like a little Easter egg.
Exactly.
In a way,
yeah.
Nice.
There's tons of Easter eggs for sure. Yeah, it's great.
Oh man, this is kind of getting me like I love getting lost in researching stuff that I previously had no interest in at all, and I can get interested in something out of nowhere. Like I remember one time. It has nothing to do with anything, but someone I was dating was very into Grey's Anatomy and told me like about one of the ways they wrote a character off. And I went into a rabbit hole of researching every way that Grey's Anatomy has written off one of their cast members, like for no reason.
What was it that they did? Did they just kill the character off?
Yeah, a lot of times, like they main characters too, like Patrick Dempsey's character was. I loved reading how he got killed off in a car accident, and it probably was because he was kind of douchey on set or something like that. I'm like, that's great. It was
that is nice.
It wasn't even
get
like
this guy out of here.
Yeah, it wasn't an honorable. Like, it's not like he went out with like cancer for 4 seasons and battled it. No, he just got in a car accident and they killed him like that.
Done.
It was great. Yeah. I mean, I learned about how they killed like, one of the most beloved characters off in shocking fashion. Anyways, the only reason I bring this up is because I would totally get into conspiracies, I feel like, and get lost in the same way. I tend to, me living through 9/11, the 9/11 conspiracies were always, I think that's the one that first hooked me into conspiracies in a way.
You're going to have the CIA coming after us if we talk about this.
All right, the Dior bag conspiracy.
There you go. No.
Yeah.
Are you asking, do I know any 9/11 conspiracies?
No, not really. But like,
I do.
But what I was going to say is that the government, is keeping information from us, conspiracies. Those tend to be the ones that get my antennas going a little bit more.
I like those too.
Yeah.
There's a theory that you've heard of the word like a psyop.
Yes.
It's like a psychological operation.
Right.
It's ultimately an operation to get the mass people to think about something in a way that they want, whether it's control or not. So maybe all of this alien stuff and the initial alien stuff back at Roswell was just a government psyop. And my deeper theory to that would be a lot of this alien stuff picked up during war times, and if the news is talking about something else that's wild, they're not talking about what's really going on.
Yeah.
So part of me hopes that the alien stuff is real and it's not a psyop. But part of me could just say, well, this would be beneficial for our current government to have the narrative on something else rather than what's actually going on.
Didn't they release something during like COVID that was deemed as proof of like alien technology or alien something in a way, and then it was just shit was so bad during COVID that nobody cared?
The government did come out with I think it was Congress. Like they did come out and say, yes, this is all real.
Like some type
they
of
said
like,
it.
like there's access to like they opened up like access to files that like weren't previously.
The government, definitely like said this was real, and because of all of the news and how
nobody
quickly
cared,
swept under the rug.
Yeah.
I saw it though. I was like, that guy, that whistleblower's name is David Grutch, I believe is his name.
Okay.
Yeah, and he went in front of Congress, did his whole meeting with them, and then they dragged him for a little bit. But then Luis Elizondo, and there's another guy recently that has been leading like talks with whistleblowers and having more of this stuff come out. So I hope it's real. I hope that they're not just, blowing smoke up our asses. But I wouldn't be surprised if every politician said, I don't know what those drones are in New Jersey, but in 6 months, all of those politicians are going to have stock for a new company of drone taxis running around New Jersey. And they're going to go, I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
But mark my word, check their bank accounts.
It's going to come, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's either it's military technology or it's to go fully in and dive into aliens. It's alien crafts. And actually, Joe Rogan had a really cool episode in the last week or two. He brought on 2 government whistleblowers, and in that conversation, they talk about 7 different alien species.
Wow.
Yeah, and that I was like, okay, I know enough to claim to be some kind of conspiracy researcher or theorist, but to hear about 7 blew my mind. It's a really, really neat 2-hour conversation with these guys.
Do they think that we've had 7 different types of species to like make contact or land on Earth?
Yeah, they say like the normal ones that everyone knows are like the small grays or the small grays, the tall whites or the tall Nords is what they're called. And then there is one brought up often called the reptilians.
Right.
But they're not talked about a lot because apparently they're not as welcoming in the universe.
That suddenly makes it's like a perfect retcon for why people might have different accounts of alien encounters. It's like, well, they just saw different species of aliens.
Exactly.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, and some of these from just research, some of them communicate differently. So some of them communicate on a mental level, and then other ones will fully try and speak and embody people and stuff like that. And it's very weird.
Now that I think about it, my favorite, I guess, alien, I don't know if it would be called a conspiracy, but at least an encounter. There was this episode, I think it was Netflix tried to bring back, I don't know if they tried, they probably successfully did. They brought back Unsolved Mysteries. And one of them, in one of the episodes, they kind of went a little bit different. It wasn't like a murder or a missing person. They covered this weird day where multiple people in a small town had accounts of the same.
Is it a town in Africa?
No, it was an American town.
Oh,
yeah.
What's that one?
And I forgot what town it was in, but there's different accounts of different people that all saw like a similar like light or whatever, and then have this inability to recount like a couple of hours of what happened
after it.
Yeah, and like the one that kind of blew my mind the most was there was this family of like 4 in a car.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a mom, maybe 2 kids, and the thing that I remember the most is like I think they were with their grandmother or something like that. And the grandmother doesn't drive, and they saw this something in the sky, and it like scared the crap out of them. Then they couldn't recall what happened for like an hour or 2 or maybe more than that. But the freakiest thing was that they were sitting in the car, but not in the same positions that they were initially.
Oh, weird.
And the weirdest one is that the grandmother was in the driver's seat, which is just absolutely
false.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't know what the hell happened.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I like that. I am terrified of the idea of getting abducted.
Really?
Hell yeah.
Because I was going to ask, if the aliens come, are you that person on the roof like, yay, take me? Or
no, if I saw an alien standing in front of me, I would punch that shit in the face.
Not just throw water?
I wouldn't even wait.
M. Night Shyamalan taught us water.
Nope. The second I would see it, I would run at it with a fist.
I thought you
just
would be
not,
loving it.
Nope.
Okay.
No way. I wouldn't be the person to...
You're terrified of aliens then. Is it because of all this research that...
yeah. Oh, yeah. Just because I know that the second you get in that ship, you're not you're not attached to gravity anymore, so you're not attached to time, if that's the same idea, because time is relative to gravity in a sense.
Is that a thing?
Here's a way to prove that. You know the movie Interstellar?
Yes, but I've never seen it.
Oh, it's great, dude.
My wife has been
so
dying.
good.
It's like her favorite movie, and I've never seen it. So
This is an easy concept. There's an idea, or there's a moment in the movie where he starts on the planet that they're on, and when they travel away from the planet and come back, because of the planet still going through its gravity and its own time, the person on that planet ages to like 80, but they go up and come back, and it's maybe an hour time on the ship. But because of moving away from a center point of gravity ultimately means that you're not held down to that time. Okay,
I'm with you.
Oh, good. Okay,
because that's kind of like what they do in Planet of the Apes, the original.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he comes back and it's still Earth,
right?
But it's just hundreds of years.
Spoiler.
If you haven't
seen this movie that came out 40-something years
this
ago.
version, or Mark Wahlberg's version, or James Franco's version,
remake where Abraham Lincoln is an ape. Spoiler.
Yeah, that's a good one though. That is nice. Yeah, man. So the idea is that if they are moving away in Interstellar, they move away from the planet and come back, and that time still works. So time is only relative to the gravity that it's associated with.
Wow. So if this spaceship, if there's no gravity like within it, then that's what might be causing this entire.
I would say, to answer that, everything living probably has its own biological clock. The clock that we talk about and time that we talk about is not the same biological clock that your body runs on. It's gravitational clock, because our time is based off of how many rotations, you know?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So let's imagine we're on a different planet, and it takes not 24 hours to rotate around. It takes 36.
Right.
Does it mean your birthday changes? No. It doesn't mean you're older or younger.
Right.
Your body is still going through its natural timing. So with that being said, you're probably in a spaceship with its own gravity and its own sense of time, or at least you're detached from your original sense of time, Earth.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably losing people here.
No,
but it's neat, right?
It's so freaky.
That's just like basic science and relativity. Like that's like just gravity 101, you know? Who is that? Isaac Newton, you know?
All I know about him is an apple fell and he got famous, all right? So
yeah, it hit him on the head and he proved gravity or whatever. But I guess the point is those ships are making their own gravity, maybe. Or they're just, this is where we get into quantum mechanics. So if your people didn't turn this podcast off already, they're going to now. But quantum mechanics is all about like going to the molecular level of something and trying to manipulate the atoms.
Okay.
So either these ships are flying because they are creating their own gravity, or the technology is just becoming like quantum mechanics and vibrating at a frequency that they're not solid.
Right.
If that makes sense.
A little bit, because I've always been confused as to how the Flash, tying this back to comics.
Yeah, that's a good example.
The Flash can move through objects and the explanation in comics has been that he can vibrate at such a fast speed that his vibrations down to the molecular level make it so that he's intangible and he can go through things.
Yeah.
I've always been confused as hell about that, but you're saying there's actually...
You're nailing it,
there
though.
Might
That's
be
what the
some,
theory is.
Right, there might be some scientific theory to
Possibly.
why this is...
Possibly, or it's a hybrid metal material that when a frequency is attached to it, it either becomes liquid or hard. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you were to play the right frequency on your car and all of a sudden it melts into goo, that would be the same kind of theory. Wow. Maybe these orb ships have a metal that when they press go vibrates at such a frequency that it just moves like the Flash.
Yeah.
Where it can go through solid objects.
That's crazy.
Maybe.
That's awesome.
Who knows? I don't know.
I like thinking about that because there was this
could just be science.
There's a theory that perhaps the biggest conspiracy in terms of aliens ever, the fact that Area 51 is a base to study alien technology. There's this theory that the reason that we as a society tend to have these almost ridiculous jumps in technological advances at times is because we actually have all this technology from aliens and are just releasing it little by little to capitalize on it in a capitalist world to make money off of it. And if you were to release it all at once, then where do we go from here?
Yeah, it would ruin the fossil fuel industry
Right.
and people's investments.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen that as well. That it either we've got it from either the technology was reverse engineered from Area 51,
Right.
they found these things, learned about it, and then were able to replicate that. Or a weirder one is there is some galactic federation and they're slowly dripping us, help.
Wow.
Until they see us to be ready for acceptance into the group. It's like Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
You've seen that,
Yeah, for sure.
Because I guess that goes back to some of these whistleblowers in the UFO or UAP community are claiming that this all started around Roswell and the atomic bomb. Because I guess atomic science is a precursor to fusion, quantum mechanics, and getting to this next stage of technology. So when we started nuking people and using EMPs and those kind of devices, either we knocked a spaceship out of flight, and that's what Area 51 is, or they're they're watching us so that we don't kill ourselves with warfare.
It's almost as if the moment that if Oppenheimer taught me anything, he invented.
Wait, if Oppenheimer taught you anything, it's that Josh Peck killed all those people. He did it.
You blame Josh Peck in that movie?
From Jake and Josh? He pressed the button. He should lose sleep
true.
every night knowing that he did that to Hiroshima.
Peck, yeah. But the idea that nuclear explosion, the first time that humankind was able to create that was kind of the blip that
alerted them
to our existence in
possibly,
some way,
or at least we're ready.
Right. Man, that's pretty awesome too to think about that stuff.
That gets kind of washed away though if you think of like the Egyptians. And have you seen anything in the conspiracy world about the Egyptians and their buildings? And
that like the only way that the pyramids could have really existed is if aliens somehow had some type of
either
involvement.
that or that race of people who did make these things were more technologically advanced than we thought, because they'll find structures in stone that looks like the way you take clay and make a bust or something, how you kind of rip away clay at it sometimes, and then you put it into an oven and it hardens. It looks like people just took their hands on stone and wiped it away. There's fingerprints and handprints on stone in Egypt that looks like they just went up to it and went, wow. There's also cuts into some of these stones that are round and perfect, that it just kind of seems crazy that the Egyptians at the time were using I don't know, chisel and hammers to
right,
make these
to make
things.
a perfect
Yeah.
And then isn't there also this idea that some of the pyramids align in perfect ways in terms of like
I've seen that. Yeah, they match with the stars.
right,
But then there's also pyramids around the globe that also do the same. Like how could they align them so perfectly? I don't know. Could they just be like I guess the stars were a map, so that could be the reasoning. But they're oddly specific with the locations and the dimensions. I'm almost positive that the pyramids, the three of them, fall under like the North Star and like two other main stars, and so do the other ones. I don't know, man. There's so much weirdness out there that either is not being discovered or suppressed, or people are just like, who cares at this point? We got bigger fish to fry than figure out who the Egyptians were.
So your natural affinity to alien conspiracies, did that when you came across the script for the Conspiracists, do you feel like you already had this desire, this foot in to want to explore a comedy based on conspiracies?
For sure. Yeah, I knew that when it came time to pitch jokes or we didn't pitch a lot of jokes to the writing side. It was more of creative touches, you know.
Okay.
We're setting up the convention. What kind of booths do you want? Does this conspiracy work? That kind of thing. So I did have a lot of prior knowledge and excited things to share in the film and stuff. So yeah,
that's
did
incredible
get to nuance
because
it.
I had no idea that you have. We accidentally stumbled across this fact that you are super into alien conspiracies. So it makes sense that you would want to do a movie like this because it's like, yeah, if you never played or watched football, why would you Why would you produce a football movie?
Yeah.
So you're the conspiracy. You're
a conspiracist researcher.
I was about to say you told me early on you don't want to be called a.
I don't want to be called a theorist because that sounds crazy.
Sure.
I'd rather come to you with my research and try and back it up with some facts or at least some pictures or at least
not a conspiracy theorist,
yes.
A conspiracy researcher.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I don't want to sound crazy.
Yeah. What is a conspiracist then? Is it just somewhat would a researcher fall under a conspiracist umbrella?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. No matter what, the conspiracy side is going to have a flare of craziness and out there-ness. But I would say our film tries to humanize the main characters. I would say the producers and we didn't want the film to feel like too absurd.
Okay.
Even though the context of the movie and the world that they're all living in, conspiracy worlds, is so absurd,
sure,
we wanted the people to feel truthful and grounded and real, and that they actually believed these things, not caricatures of conspiracy theorists. You know, I didn't want to make, my goal was to not have. You ever see The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I have, actually.
Yeah, it's a great show, but all of those characters are so like absurd, they don't feel real.
Right, yeah.
I wanted the absurdness, but I want the realness
you wanted
with
more
our
grounded.
people. Yeah, so all our our main characters, the story follows a brother and sister who put on the first all-inclusive conspiracy convention, and the brother uncovers a larger conspiracy at play, and the sister struggles to just get the convention up and going throughout the movie.
Okay.
And her character specifically feels so real and grounded. And her name, Terry Lynn, is the star of our film.
From Book of Mormon.
Yeah. Did you research her? Did you look her up? I was like, how did you know? Yes. Yeah, she is.
You guys landed someone from Book of Mormon. I think that's
right,
pretty
man.
Cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool to have, the South Park guys in our film in that small way.
Same circles.
Same
M. Night
circles.
Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Trey.
Oh, they make fun of him.
Trey Parker.
Trey, what is it? Trey and Tram? What's their names?
No, you butchered that.
What are their names?
It's Trey and something.
It's all right. We'll cut this part out.
Trey and Lance. Did you say Trey and Lance? I think that's a football player.
I have no idea what
Trey. I think it's Trey Parker. Is one of them.
Yeah, it was one of them.
And then the other guy. Trey Parker and the other guy.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I really hope people see this film. It's an hour and a half, so it's short and sweet. And I think that movies need to get back to that time frame.
Matt Stone.
Matt Stone.
And Trey Parker.
Yeah, Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah.
I love South Park. We're really lucky to have Terry Lynn from the Book of Mormon in our movie. And
so does that mean she can sing too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's no singing in the movie though, is there?
There is some singing.
Okay.
I can't say who does it.
Okay. Cool.
Because it is a good joke, but there is some singing,
Nice.
not by her.
Right.
But we were fortunate. She was able to take off from work and come and be with us. And she's actually a Delaware local too.
Oh wow.
So it was really sweet for her, I would say, and me to come home.
Yeah.
And make this film
Nice.
in our home.
A lot of people returning home to Delaware to. When I watched the piece on Good Morning Wilmington, it seemed like it was kind of important to them that it was in Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel any affinity towards it being filmed back home too?
Yeah, I did for sure. The logic side of me and the executive producer side of me knew that it's going to be cheaper to do a film there than in New York City or New Jersey or anywhere.
Of course.
But I really think that Delaware has something special going with its location.
Mm-hmm.
You're so close to so many different environments. Maryland has such a weird environment. It's like swamplands at times and farmlands, and then you're so close to Baltimore and DC. It's just a train ride over.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have Philadelphia right there. Go Birds, by the way. Are you
Yeah,
a
that's
football fan at all?
Of course. I'm hosting my own Super Bowl party tomorrow.
Are you really? Nice,
Yeah.
nice, man. Are you? I have some conspiracies about sports.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
All right, let's.
I mean, their biggest advertisers is like DraftKings.
Yeah. Oh, so you think
To say that it's
fix
not
is in or something like
fixed
that.
is stupid.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Come
man.
on.
So you're
To have Taylor Swift and
Travis
and-
Kelce?
Yeah, and have Travis Kelce there all the time is written in. And then you have people like Dave Portnoy being like, here's my my call options for this game. DraftKings, baby. On his podcast. Like, come on. Somebody's got to be watching that and being like, okay, it's going to be better for our pockets if this happens.
So you think the biggest conspiracy about there being a script to the season? Like, you think
Maybe not a script
Okay.
for football. I will say the NBA does have a bit of issue with this.
Okay.
You'll get into playoff level matches
Mm-hmm.
where I don't know sports that well, so I'm just going to make up an example.
Great.
But like, think of like Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, and they're in the playoffs against, low level team nobodies. Somebody on the team from either this Golden State or the other one, or a coach or someone maybe in the locker room, they're all in the mindset of knowing like we should try and win because we want to win.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know that it's in our best interest if at the end of the day, Steph Curry's going against LeBron James.
Right.
So whether they're going and saying it on the court or in the locker rooms, I'm pretty sure they probably have talks like that where they're like, listen, man, I know we want to win. It's not our time, so we're going to just play as well as we can and appease everybody. And I'm sure every person playing in this sport, any sport, has a manager or a best friend that they're being like, what did you bet on this week? Okay, cool. How big is that spread? And thinking about it while playing the game.
Jeez.
Don't you think?
I mean, it's only getting
At least
worse
I would.
now with that betting's becoming so easy and accessible and legalized in so many different places now.
Mm-hmm.
Where, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about thinking that conspiracies about games being fixed, why they're so easy to believe.
Mm-hmm.
There's proof that shit has gone down before.
Deflating of the ball.
Yeah, well, not even just Deflategate or
Tom
whatever, because
Brady.
technically, I don't think anyone did get in trouble for that. I don't remember,
I don't think so either.
But dude, there's an NBA ref that was fired for fixing games for Pat Donaghy, I believe his name was. He went to jail, I believe. He admitted that he was fixing games or at least making calls to help
get it
because
some way.
of
Yeah.
gambling. There was a college basketball player that was kicked out of the NCAA because he started betting, and he would learn what the spread was, and he knew that he could affect the spread. He knew that he could affect the game either covering or not covering.
Right.
And there's a documentary where he's admitting to this happening. So,
Yeah.
and then now we have an NBA player that's banned for life because he bet on himself to play shitty
To go back.
and then would enter a game and feign an injury and leave.
That's kind of good.
It's genius,
That's really
except
funny.
for the fact that he got caught.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that the bets are for like a fraction of what he makes.
What he actually gets paid.
Yeah, so it's nuts,
It's
but like
stupid.
whatever.
It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, and now there's another player that was being investigated for similar things, And like, look, if I'm ever betting on myself in a sporting event, I'm always betting the under. I'm never. The goal of me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna
do
bet on
great.
myself, and now let me go prove it with my athletic prowess. That's not happening. No.
That would have been great at some point.
I would win the bet if it's like Will Bryant's going to get injured at some point during the game. 100%. I'm going all in on that.
I'll take that bet too. I'll take that.
My hammy just hears that the competition and it's blowing out.
It's already blowing.
Oh yeah,
It's already ripping.
I have a pre-torn hamstring. Like it's ready to go at any moment. So
It's ready to give up.
yeah. So I mean, I'm the type of guy, like, I'm convinced I'm going to tear an ACL while, like, stepping down from a curb, like, one day. Like, I'm not going to have a cool story about my ACL tear. It's not happening. I already went to the hospital because I fell in the bathroom and hurt my ribs. So
You just slip.
pretty much, yeah.
It sounds like
In
a
a bath, like
an 80-year-old man's
I know.
story.
It was not, the bath mat was new and it was not slip resistant at all as advertised. All right. So
You may have a lawsuit on your hands, buddy.
if I would have,
sue Temu.
if I were, it was Amazon. All right.
We're coming for you, Jeff.
Jeff.
Bezos, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know why my head went to Epstein. Like, talk about conspiracies.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's
man.
never going to be solved, by the way.
That's the conspiracy
gonna
of
be
all
swept under the
conspiracies
rug.
right there.
Honestly, but probably the easiest way to like rationalize that is like the celebrity culture is so like cheap that if somebody said, "Hey, we're taking my private jet to an island over spring break. Do you want to come?" That I can see being like such a casual thing for celebrities and like politicians and rich
Right.
people being like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm just taking Jeff's boat over to the island. I don't know who Jeff is, but they invited me. You know, shit like that."
I would totally have gone too, I think.
If I got invited to ride on a private jet to some
Yeah.
party, yeah, I'd also say go,
Yeah.
sure. But would I go and take part in all this stuff? No.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Just had to put that out there.
Oh, that's fun. I'm glad that you covered your bases there, man.
Yeah. I mean, the people listening to this already are going to be like either putting me on like a watch list.
Yeah, we are screwed. This is the most red flagged episode that I will have ever put out.
There's going to be an article in months down the line where it's like Conspiracists movie actually was true and a cover up for Eddie Layfield.
Sorry. Well, I had a good run. 2 years on this show. And then you come on and I get red flagged and
Hey man,
ghost banned and all that.
you're welcome.
Appreciate you. Dude, I appreciate you coming on the
Thank you,
show
man.
and doing
Thank you.
this
This
with
was
me.
fun.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Before we go, if you want to just plug directly
Okay.
to them, some of your
Sure.
socials or
Yeah.
your podcast, all that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
the Conspiracists. You can find us at theconspiracists.com, where you'll find some information about us. You can read about the film. You can see some behind the scenes stills, a teaser, and our movie poster is up there now too.
Oh, is the teaser up on the website?
The teaser,
now,
by the time this comes out, will definitely be up there. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So what I want to know, I didn't know if that was going to be made public yet, but
Yeah.
I could. I'll definitely include links to all of this when it
Please,
comes
yeah.
out. I don't know how you feel about including the teaser on the show so that they could see it.
I'll
right?
check. I'll check with my producers
But
and see if that's
not-
okay.
if
But I
not,
think
we
that'd
will
be
link,
fine.
Yeah, if not,
Yeah.
we'll link to it. If I do get the okay, I'll show you the teaser myself.
Yeah.
Conspiracists.com if you want to see any information about that. How about on like Instagram or
Yeah.
YouTube? Can we find you there?
Sure. Uncultured Swine is my production company. Our partner production company is King Creative. And you can follow us there for updates. And the Conspiracists with an S.com is definitely going to be the best central place to get all the information about this. Also, a little teaser. Selfishly, I'll be in the next month or so producing 5 or 6 like one-off skits,
Okay.
all aimed at getting more traffic towards the conspiracists, but I'll be debunking conspiracies in these 30-second like one-offs. It's really, really funny stuff.
Nice. Very cool. I look forward to seeing that, man.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
I will be sure to keep you guys in the know when there's more news about the release of the movie when it finally happens, because I know it will. And then I'll definitely keep them in the know with your little 30-second videos out there. You know what? If you guys haven't seen the Dastardly Clam,
yeah, that's right.
Be sure to check that out. I'll link you guys to that as well, man. Eddie, once again, I appreciate you, dude.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah, of course. Guys, do me a favor. Follow me on all platforms. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Spotify, YouTube, Threads, X, all of it. I'm Will Bryant on everything. That's 3 words. I'm Will Bryant, Bryant, like Kobe.
Sweet.
Nice. Always, Eddie. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, my friend.
Of course.
Take care, y'all.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was really cool. That's honestly what I expected, like how it to go. I was like, yeah, we're gonna just divulge into conspiracies and hook people. It'll be fun. I picked 2 that to kind of get you into it because, man, they're rabbit holes that you can just talk about them endlessly for a long time. It's good, man. It's really quirky. It's really funny. It's shot like The Office too, so there's a lot of talking heads, you know, where they're just talking into the camera, and that's where you get a lot. Yeah.
What is that? It's recording us right now?
I know, I don't do podcasts. What is this?
The puppy eagle has landed.
You sound crazy right now.
Tom Brady!
Dad! Enough with the gambling stuff. She has nothing to do with this. What the
You know, I think the whole thing is just one giant conspiracy targeting me, actually.